hello, YouTube and Lock and Load Ninjas. Yes, I'm back again. Before anybody asks, I am not schizophrenic. I may be very fickle. I may change my mind a lot. But I'm just having a good time. So before anybody starts getting up there going, did you change guns again? I actually have 3 or 4 that I actually rotate out. And I train with them on a regular basis. And this is one of them. So, anyway. Finally got this to the range. The Sig M18 with the Icarus Precision ACE SOCOM aluminum lower. And the way this gun feels with this lower on it is nothing short of astonishing. So many things about it. I mean, if you look, and by the way, before I took this to the range, and I had not taken the Staccato C to the range, C2, while everybody's out there going, well, you should never take a gun that you haven't test fired. I was taking this because I have test fired the living hell out of this gun. This is my Sig P320 Compact. And this was going with me. Now, if you look at the lower on this, which this is very close, I could have gotten the M18 lower, I just didn't want to. You see that there's a lot of room for improvement. And with the SOCOM on it, that improvement has been done. You have a finger groove here that is beautiful. You have an undercut, and then you have another undercut to accommodate your hands when you're in there and you're wrapping up and everything else. Everything is lovely. The very, what's the word that I want to use here for this? The very long and curled beaver tail. This makes for a very comfortable ride when you're pulling the trigger. The absence of a swell on the back here, you have a little swell on the back with these. The absence of that swell leads to a lot of different things. And this magwell, this partial magwell, flared, I love it. I'm not really sure what these cutouts are for here on the side. Maybe to lighten it up a little bit. The accessory rail, I have put various lights on it. All the lights I've tried on it have worked. As it is right now, I'm not running it with a light. I've gotten out of the light. The interesting thing about this, when I took it to the range, was the fact, I don't know how many rounds this M18 had in it when I got it. I bought it used. And what occurred was the first time I pulled the trigger on it, it failed to go back and reset. And you can still hear it. The FCU in this gun was quite fouled up. And we had to do, there was a lot of field expedient stuff we had to do. If you watched my C2 video, you'll know that, and for all of you that call this a Chinese commie optic, that's fine. I know a lot of guys that run these. I like them. Buck Holly likes them. Steve Fisher likes them. It's what works, right? It's what works. And Holosun has worked pretty good for me, so that's why I stay with them. I didn't tighten that down with Loctite, so that got loose. But before it ever got loose, my trigger was not resetting. Now it resets. Well, see, there it is. Okay, you just saw it. This is the FCU on this is still dirty. We did a quick impromptu field clean on it. It started shooting. When it was shooting superbly as far as accuracy. And that's because of this grip. But before we get too much into that, let's go to the range and look at it. And there's a couple of examples. The first time it happened, I was completely stunned that this had happened because, like I said, I had not fired this yet in this configuration. I've been carrying this, so let's go look at that right now. saw was quite the puzzle. Except I'm going to try an experiment. I may take this FCU out, stick it in here, and go back to the range and try that again. I think it's just the FCU fouled up. Other than that, well, you know what? Let's do a quick pull apart. And just like that, that's changed over. So this has got the FCU from the other gun. All right. Okay, it's the FCU. So I will be taking this one and cleaning the living bejesus out of it. Now let's get back to the gun review. When Sig says modular, they mean modular. Overall, this gun, as it ended up shooting, I am not disappointed at all. This gun held its own. The trigger, which was the big issue, after it started functioning, the hits and the accuracy of this gun were absolutely crazy. And this is definitely a gun that's in the rotation. And I like guns that have optics on them. Now, you know, case in point. But one thing I want to say about SIGs, I've been seeing all these stories about SIGs shooting themselves. They fire themselves. I haven't heard a single story about one going off in a concealed carry situation. Only with law enforcement and the military. Now, as somebody who takes one of these, and I mean, if I'm in gym clothes, a lot of the time, I'm using a sticky holster. And if I'm not using that, I have a holster that my friend Mark made me for this gun, and I'm using that. This gun has who made it? A Tier 1 concealment holster for it, a Tier 1 concealment duty holster. Now, these guns, except here, right now, these guns are always loaded, they're always chambered. If these are so prone to shooting themselves, why aren't they shooting themselves in the hands of a civilian? And if you know about it, I'd be interested to know. Now, it's not enough to make me change my mind. I remember when the NYPD changed over to Glock. And a lot of officers were either shooting themselves or they were shooting, some kid would get a hold of it and shoot themselves or shoot their kids. And then they went from that 5.5 pound trigger, because they were going from revolvers to these striker fired guns. They went from that to the striker fired pistol, and they went from that 5.5 pound trigger to the New York trigger, which is a 12 pound trigger now. And that means this gun, which probably weighs 3 pounds when it's loaded, if it had a New York trigger in it, the trigger pull would be 3 times the weight or 4 times the weight of the gun, which has a tendency to pull you off target, which NYPD also has a tendency to shoot people they're not intending to shoot. So my question, and you know, this configuration should be no different than any other configuration out there. It should be no different from this one. And if I put this one back together, it should be no different from that one. So why aren't these shooting themselves? Somebody want to tell me? I'm very curious to find out. Plus, I have never seen the aftermath of this. I keep hearing about how they're shooting themselves in the holster. These things will only shoot themselves if something activates the trigger. And even then, it has to be something that's going to push back on it, probably to the tune of 5 pounds. So, will I continue to carry SIGs? You betcha, because I can shoot these like nobody's business. I have not had any of these things happen to me. I carry them all the time in all kinds of conditions, in all kinds of states, but always with something in the chamber. Always ready to go, always hot, as they would say. And that's my take on it. The parts on this, the Icarus Precision ACE SOCOM is worth the money. If you want to take a gun that is good and turn it into a gun that is excellent, if you want to take it and you're fairly accurate with it as it is, and you want to take it and turn it into something else altogether, I mean, you're stacking shots now. You're just not accurate out there. When you're sticking it out there, you're really accurate. The other thing is that with this, because of this grip angle, when I stick it out there right there, the dot is there. I don't have to close and go to my dominant eye to find that dot. It's just boom, dot. And I don't have sights to co-witness with this, see? So, sorry if I got sort of heated about that. It just makes me sort of, I don't know, it just makes me sort of angry when we get out here and we start hearing these things and we hear about 4 or 5 cases and we make, Sig P320 is a problem gun. Really? How come only one group of people's having a problem with it? Lots of people carry them. Lots of people carry them. Okay, I'm going to go get me some blood pressure medication. If you like this kind of content, and some of you are going to like it, and because of that rant, some of you may not like me at all anymore. And I understand. But if you do, give me a thumbs up, and maybe subscribe. I've been getting a few more subscribers lately. Thank you. Thank you so much. More stuff to come. I think the next thing we're going to talk about is going to be the Raging Hunter, which is such an exceptional pistol. I've never shot it before, so when I got my hands on it, I had to go, oh, wow. Anyway, that's coming soon. I'm out of here.